Hello, Clinton County, Wilmington, Ohio, 45177. It's been a while. Um, I've got a TikTok channel. Um, I have done quite a few um, TikToks. I plan on uploading them to this format based on the interactions and the visuals that I get. I mean, one of the um, one of the TikToks got over 40,000 hits. Um, I want to talk about like the effects of corruption on the average person, um, uh, their livelihoods, where they live, their communities, um, what it does to resources. Um, and I tell you, it's going through what myself, um, not just myself. I mean, I'm sure there's thousands. I'm not unique. Daryl Petrie's not unique. Spencer's not unique. Greg is not unique. This is a plague. This is something that's it's so well regarded that it's a hard monster to stop because you can expose the shit out of it, but that train is going to keep on going because of the involvement of the people who have agendas and narratives and the ability to quite frankly just overlook and not pay attention, to the effects and what it's truly doing. And it's like this me kind of world. And um, I'm 54 years old. Um, Probably seen more than the human eye should see. Um, and this we live in a disgusting time. We do. Um, and I found myself even. I mean, like my attitude has faltered a bit. Um, my demeanor, my character, and it's pulled me in to get into some kind of like uh, I'm not going to call it a dirty fighting tactic, um, but even the things that that come out of my mouth, um, I just I just it's not it's not me, and I've become this because of corrupt people and fighting against a monster, and those monsters leave scars. And so um, I think what we've done here locally has had a great deal of impact. I do. While others stay focused on their lane, I don't care what it is. Um, I will help anyone, and I have. I've had people knock on my front door. Tony, can you help? Yeah, I can. I mean, that's not an invite. I mean, um, but I have because that's who I am. I swore an oath, and it didn't die with my end of enlistment in the United States Marine Corps. That will die with me when I leave this world, and that means something to people, to some people, but to some, it's just words. You know, that's all it is. It means nothing to them because they have no honor. They have no integrity. They claim to have it. They pound their chest as to being such. Oh, I have this title, therefore you must assume that I have these things. But you don't. Many of them don't. These people are these people I almost did it. These people are horrible. They are really, really bad people. We can talk about Casey. We can talk about Marvin. We can talk about the individual. Um, oh my God, there's been so many. It's sad that there's anyway. The Melvin brothers. We can I can literally sit on here and chatter and go on about all these horrible these horrible deaths that have no answers to them. That I mean, and the answers that you're given, we know it's bullshit, and that's what it is. But then the killer, the killer, our own, I almost did it again. Our own mayor, Pat Haley of Wilmington, Ohio, 45177, former sheriff, looked me in my eye. He had no idea I was recording him. I'd never recorded him before. In fact, I'd never recorded anyone before. Or perhaps I have, perhaps I haven't. I won't let that secret out. But, when this guy tells me, hey, meet me at this undisclosed area, we're going to talk about leaks. Of course, yeah, you know what, man? This doesn't sound good out of the gate. um, but then he tells me that, Tony, there was a time here that if it, looks suspicious and they could get away with calling it a suicide, well, that's just what they would do. They'd call it a suicide. It could have been a murder, homicide. I mean, it could have been all the above. But it came out, and this is a law enforcement officer of 20 plus years, and his brother was also a law enforcement officer here in the city. What does that say? That means that means that he has this knowledge, and he's able to bend his character enough and his moral compass to not do something about it. But yet he'll write a book on a murder that happened here, and then brag about the money that he made to me. But then the mention of Mr. Peasley writing a book about, what we have encountered is all of a sudden a bad thing, If he wants to, earn something for his time. I mean, if you want to look at the time that we've spent, I mean, you know what? Okay, I'm going to back up right there. Okay. I've never been in this for monetary purposes. Ever. Ever. That's not what it's about to me. It never has been, and it never will be, because that's not who I am. Did I think about writing a book myself? Of course I did. But you know what that was for me? Therapy. I did start one, and I'm not gonna. I mean, this is like an entire life kind of biography thing from the projects of East Nashville, Tennessee, to Thailand, to Hong Kong, to Wilmington, Ohio. But I will tell you, I have never seen more deception, cover-ups, and lies of people who we are to trust in my life than right here in Wilmington, Ohio. But then all you got to do is turn on the news, and that's what they're all about. Greed has no party. Deception has no party. Lying has no party, left or right. It has ambassadors, and they come in all flavors, and that's the individual. It sickens me. It really sickens me that I put on a piece of paper that I voted for that man. Would I have voted for the other guy? No, I simply just wouldn't have voted, and that would have hit my conscience as well, because I feel like I've sat out on a duty. But what I've seen with my own two eyes, that I mean, and just imagine it being at the grand scale of the government. Well, now we know where it starts. It's top to bottom. It's top to bottom. And then we look around and look at the debt that we're in, this country. ladies and gentlemen. Look at the status. If you think for 1 second this country is in a blissful state, you've lost your you've lost your minds. If China were to turn the dollar into the yen right now, they would own this country probably several times over. That's just a fact. Look at the greed. Look at the politicians who go in making 7,500, 150 grand, but now they're millionaires. You think that's coincidence? Watch their net worth the second they take office triple. I mean, um, I think the greed. I think um, these individuals with their own personal agendas who try to spread their own agendas as this blanket for everyone. No, you can't. You don't do that. But I mean, let's get back here. Let's travel back to Wilmington. Let's get back to Wilmington. I grew up here. Uh, well, partially. This was an amazing place. I can honestly say, was it boring as hell? Yes, it was. But was it safe? I thought it was. Um, I don't recall, any half of what we see today. I just don't. Um, but the more knowledge that I've gained over time, and I look around and I see that just what we've been through with some of these cases that we've worked, or that we've, I'm not going to say worked. I'm going to say that we aided in with these individuals who came to us, simply because Daryl started a group. I became a part of that group, and the two of us met. And it's no, I don't know if you know how we met, but we were both victims of some pretty corrupt shit. I mean, mine was with the bank and the judge, and look what happened to them. I've not gotten my justice yet, but it's coming. Mr. Petrie had some vehicles stolen out of his. He had these people on camera. He had these people on tracks leading back to where they were going. People stealing off him on a daily basis. For God's sake, the sheriff's department got one of his tools that was missing. Hey, I believe we have one of your tools here, Mr. Petrie. Can you confirm this is yours? Yes, that's mine. I'll be there to get it. He gets there and it's gone. He's yet to see it. Someone, from the time that this deputy contacted him and the time he got there to retrieve it, someone had stolen his drill from evidence. We won't go into the goods that are supposed to be auctioned off for the county. They said there was $150 worth of power tools and things of that nature sold in so many years. I'm like, what? They're not being sold. They're being pillaged. I don't give a shit. I don't care what you say. I don't care. Someone is. We can talk. I mean, we can talk about the church whose mower was stolen. Sheriff's department had it in custody. Go to get it's gone. Oh, just file an insurance claim, sir. Well, isn't that insurance fraud? How do you explain to an insurance company that, yeah, I went to the sheriff's department to get my mower and someone stole it from them out of their evidence? We can jump around for lots of these things. And no, that's you'll hear somebody say, well, that's just how the world is, Tony. No, it's not how it has to be. Because I'm telling you, there's millions of people like me. And there's going to be one last poke. And shit's going to hit the fan. People are going to get sick of this. They're going to get sick of being treated like shit while these lying lawyers and politicians and some of these law enforcement officers who look down their noses and smile at people as they steadily rake them over the coals or lie to them or lie to them about their dead family members. How long do you think that's going to last? If you think it's not brewing, well, you best wake the hell up. I don't know if you're a religious person, but I do know I am. I'm a faithful person. I believe in Christ. I don't. Most of the churches I don't agree with. I don't believe in lots of those indoctrinations because, quite frankly, there's what 300,000 I believe it was denominations in the world today, and not one of them mentioned in the Bible. I mean, there's just so much to that. But if you want to take a look, it's a hallmark moment that just happened here recently, Wednesday to be exact. Last Wednesday, I believe it was the 15th, I think. A hallmark moment happened. And I invite you to go to your Bible and to go to Isaiah 17, verse 1. Behold, Damascus becomes a burning heap. Guess what Damascus just became? And if you look at the history of that, you'll know how significant that is. That is the oldest standing country, I believe, to this day that's never been stricken or destroyed by war. Go look at it now. So, no, I'm not throwing a Bible at you. I'm just saying, we're getting in perilous times. But what I respect and what I love to see is people that care enough to get involved. Mr. Winters, I will tell you at this moment. I mean, he may watch this one day. I don't know. Mr. Dave Winters. There was a time that I bet you he would have loved to have just punched me and Daryl right in the face. I promise you. But then I believe Greg reached out to him and said, "Hey, these guys have been, they went to jail for me. I mean, and they've gotten me stuff that I've never seen before. But thankfully, Dave, Mr. Winters of Channel 12 WKRC, good dude for what he took from this area and what he put together was amazing. But I think he sat for a minute, and I think he took the time to actually view what has made a lot of us in this area on the edge. I'm not going to call it crazy, but pretty pissed off. I mean, because this is a network of people that are covering up for a young girl's death. But it wasn't just her, though. I mean, it was Mr. Marvin Andy Napier. We had forensics evidence, something that we've got nowhere else with any other case. One of the most renowned forensics experts on this planet today stated that our sheriff's department lied in which the fashion and the manner of Mr. Marvin Andy Napier died. Where there's lies, something's wrong. But then when you take the time to look at this man's face, it looked like a smashed tomato. He was bludgeoned. They said he died of a drug-induced heart attack. Same coroner stated that Alex Rios died of excited delirium. Oh no, disregard, Mr. Coroner Harshbarger, the boot prints on his neck and the video of another gentleman with his neck in the back of his spine. And then the haunting sound of that pathetic woman. Tase him again. Dry tase him. Tase him again. As if to be getting off on this. What a sick human being. What a sick person. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this guy was in jail. He was going nowhere. In fact, facts will say they had no reason to move him. That was more than likely just to provoke him. Because was he being a dipshit? There's no law against that. No law against that at all. He can be a dipshit if he wants to be. Look at me. Look at you. I mean, we can all be dipshits. But the bottom line is, they had no reason to truly be in the damn cell. And the evidence that was, kicked out in that case, that wasn't taken in by many experts, will baffle you. It'll blow your mind. It's disgusting. What was chosen to be cast aside, just like in Mr. Napier's case. I will have you know, not one time have they addressed the evidence provided by Mr. Eric Spokane for the forensics evidence. Not one time. Why? Because if they address it, that means they have to refute it and give reason why they are addressing it. Well, this is why it doesn't fit people, but then they better have something matching or as powerful, and they can't. It doesn't. They won't. They can't have it. It does not exist. So, I wish. I also notice, and this is fascinating too, that there are people that have come here and said, "Man, this is almost like when they're talking about, the officials and the placements of people." He said, "Man, it's like they're all connected, and they are. It's like, hey, let's get them a job. Let's cronyism at its finest. That's what we have here. This is the capital of cronyism, Clinton County, Ohio. This is a turd that you're not going to polish. This is a place that I've seen go to hell in a handbag badly in the course of 15 years. Really bad. Look at our crime rate as compared to the national average, as compared to the state average. Look at the troubled people being bussed here. Homeless people that are being literally bussed here and dropped off. As if we have means to help. We don't have shit here for that. But the shiny new drug court has a reason to exist, doesn't it, Mr. Ruddick? Interesting how that. But then I mean, if you take a greater look at the broad perspective of that entire little that little network over there, I do believe it is me personally. You don't have to follow me, or you don't have to listen to me. My belief is that there is a food kitchen being kept in existence because of a drug court needing to be in existence. That's my theory. And oh, by the way, what has spawned up all over the place? Rehab facilities that can only do what? Get you to a certain level. They can't cure you, but they can certainly, hey, you go over here. But in the meantime, you're talking about troubled people. Troubled people get into trouble. Homeless people who have addiction problems. It's no secret. They find themselves in survival mode. They have to steal to survive. It's a fact. Not all of them. Let me recant. Not all of them. Not all of them, but many of them that are being brought here have criminal records. I now know that. But again, I say not all. There are some people that have a true want to get better, and as soon as they hear opportunity, they'll jump on it. They'll jump on that bus. Hey, Clinton County, I'll give that a try. They're at their last wit. They're at their last leg, perhaps. So the idea, and this is what takes me next level, is that there's creatures out there that would prey on, capitalize, and monetize off the backs of sick fellow human beings. There's a special place in hell for you. I'll say that. And there is. There definitely is. Can these people help? A lot of time, did a lot of them put themselves there, their choices and their decisions? Yeah, they did. How many of you can say that you've made perfect choices and not taken poor chances in your life? And just so happened you got lucky and didn't lose everything or get put in that type of predicament. Because let me tell you something about drugs. Um, I grew up. When I grew up, my mother was an addict. The things that happened to me during that period, I can tell you was I would have rather died. There's times in my life, um, but I watched. You know, I watched with this woman. My dad was a drunk. You know, severe. I mean, severe drunk. So that's how Tony grew up. Not to mention in a place where murder was rampant and cops would never show up, and that's just a fact. If you like to take the time, look up the statistics of East Nashville during the 70s. Look it up. That place was decay. And that's where I grew up for until my grandmother saved me. But um, I know I know what it does. I know what it feels like to get addicted to opiates. I know that feeling personally. Why? I will tell you that after my open heart surgery deal, they gave me opiates, and I would find myself looking at my bottle. I'm looking at the bottom. I'm like, damn, I've only got 5 left. I've only got 10, or maybe I think it was about 10 or 15 I'd have left. But then I know in order to me to get more of these, my wife at the time would have to go drive to base and get them for me. And I knew that was time consuming. And the idea that I was timing this out in my head to make sure that I was planning my next bottle. I felt this and I became angry, mean if I would get down to a certain level of my bottle and she hadn't got, she wasn't on her way to fix this problem that I was encountering of, my bottle diminishing right before my very eyes. And I didn't want, the feeling, I was thinking, oh, this pain. Oh, no, it wasn't pain. No, 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 no. It wasn't pain that I was fearing um, the after effect. Oh, no. I was fearing that high that I was on, losing it. So they began weaning me off, and I guess she had spoke to my doctor and said, "Hey, he's getting pretty, he's getting pretty mean over here when he gets low on his pills." So without my knowledge, they started lowering the dose, and I got weaned off before it got too serious. Um, so those things are powerful as hell. So don't sit there on your couch in your fluffiness and say, "Oh, that would never happen to me." Just make sure you don't get hurt and have to get put on opiates because it will absolutely positively happen to you, and it can. That's why this big thing is going on. It went on in the past decade. This big thing on opiates. Essentially, the hospitals and doctors were getting these people hooked on drugs, and then what happened then? Well, if they couldn't get them, they would have to go out to the streets and find the next best thing, and that would be what? Heroin. Or buy prescriptions, and where you would get nurses and physicians assistants and doctors who were writing bum scripts, or that one kid who had a doctor in his family and he was writing prescriptions for pills and got caught. Oh, but only one person got in trouble there, right, Mr. Ruddick? You remember that. So, um, it's powerful. Um, I'm glad that I never injected a needle. I watched my mom do it. I watched her inject her friends as a kid. Our house was raided. And the cops was, Mr. Son, do you know where the needle is? Right? Yeah, come on, I'll show you. They would put them above the damn door hinges. They would put the what do you call it? The damn not the hinges, the little door ledges, the frame. Damn it, the freaking door frame. They'd put the needles above the door frames. They were all over the fucking. They were all over the house. I'm sorry. I'm trying. And I think that cop collected about 15 or 20 needles that day. And then I forget whose hands we got put in that time. Possibly our aunt, I believe, or maybe Uncle Judd or Aunt Linda, one of the two. But I remember being there for a couple of weeks, maybe. But um, but that's my mom would. By the way, my mom got clean. Um, she she finally moved up. Hey, I got to take this call. I'll finish it another time. Simplify and God bless. Goodbye. Hello.